All right, hey, it's Paul here. It's been a while. I I have not been doing a lot of shooting lately, or a lot of videoing lately. But it's weather's warming up, so that's going to change a little bit. So I'm out here today tuning in a new setup. So I ran the 29 WF29 with what limbs was that? The MK Zest limbs through indoor season, just to try it, just to see what I could do with it. And I didn't feel like I had the forgiveness I needed out of that setup for me and my draw length. Um, I don't think you really lose a lot on a hooter shooter from the 27 to the 29 with mediums, but on the imperfect shots, I can really tell signals of, just wonky impacts that I couldn't get past. And talking to a few people, they agreed just to try. So I did some really good indoor scores with my 27-inch Exceed with mediums, so I wanted to try a 27 WF27 with mediums and see what I could do out of it. So I got this yesterday, did a rough tune in before we went on the 3D course, shooting medium Hoyt X Tours, the traditionals. They'll be about 41 pounds at my draw. So I've got a pretty rough tune, pretty good tune. I don't call it rough, it's pretty decent. Bear shaft hits with the fletched arrows at 20 yards. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start mapping some crawls out. I kind of have an idea where 20 is. I'm not sure. So what I've done is, if you can see it down there, right about right there, I've got an orange dot that's that big. So they're it's about a 1-inch orange dot. And so aim small, miss small, yeah. So that's what I'm doing. And I want to make sure that I'm within, the borders of that 1-inch dot at all my crawls. So what I'm trying to do is build a little forgiveness into my crawl. And what I mean by that is, when I find my 20-inch crawl, I'm going to step behind that, and I'm going to step in front of that 20 with the same crawl, and I'm going to see how many yards I can get on either side of 20 with the same crawl, just to know that I have that little bit of forgiveness in that same crawl. You'll find in any setup, you're going to have an area that's really forgiving, whether it be 18 to 22, 20 to 25, and then you're going to find that it can be 1 yard from 25 to 26 where you're going to have a drop off. And depending on what your draw length is, how much poundage you're using, your arrow weight, all that is dependent on, you've got to find where that drop off is, because you're going to have to be more precise at those yardages. For me, normally, I'm sweet from 18 to 23. Like, if they're within that, I can use pretty much anything of the same crawl for them yardages and be okay, whether I'm hitting top of the 10, bottom of the 10, or right dead in the middle of the 11. So that's what I'm out here doing today, and I figured I'd bring you along with me and just see. Now, I am shooting a bit more poundage on this setup. So my indoor setup was about 32 pounds. This is about 41, I'm guessing, which is substantially more. So I'm really having to stretch the mental game out. I'm a little shaky, so forgive that. Here we go. This is 20 yards. Pretty sure I have a good idea, so I'm just going to confirm with a couple of arrows down there. I know I am hitting a bit right. All right, cool, nice shot. It was I'm about 1 inch high of that orange dot. I'll put one more down there to confirm. Beautiful out here today. A little rainy, but it's about 60 some. Nice. That one's about a half-inch high above it. I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm turning. I'm just right there. All right, I'm gonna go get those arrows, and we'll be right back. Okay, now that crawl I just had for this, I know I was already an inch, a half inch to an inch high. So instead of dropping a half mark on these Yoast tabs, they have big marks and small marks. Instead of dropping a half mark, see, it's, for me, I get confused. You're out there on a 3D course and you're estimating yardage. You're trying to figure out which crawl you need. And I like my 5-yard marks to be on a large crawl, or on a large mark if possible. So 20, I'm right beside this bottom hole. And then probably what I would need to do was drop a half to a small mark to be dead on at 20. But I don't like to do that, because then it messes with me. So what I'll probably do is I'll just bump my knocking points up a turn or two, and I'll drop the point of that arrow down where it's dead on at 20. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go and I'm going to find my 15-yard cross. So I'm going to step forward. I always find my short cross first, just because I shoot so many arrows, I get really tired. So I don't want to try to be finding the long cross when I'm tired. And I might do 0 to 20 today, and I'll do 20 to 30 tomorrow. So that's 16 yards. So I'm going to step forward, and we're going to find this 15-yard crawl. I encourage everyone to know their crawls from 0 to the max distance you're going to be shooting the target. It is very helpful to know what your crawl would be at 5 yards or 3 yards. There's a lot of those threw in at IBOs. So I'm going to drop one full mark from what I did at 20, and hopefully it's going to be right there in it. Same spot, I'm about a ½ inch high. One more to confirm. I'm not as right as I thought I would be right now. Could be a grip. This is a different kind of grip that was on my 29, so I feel like I'm a lot more into this grip than I was the other one. It's just going to be something to get used to. All right, that was ½ inch high, and that one was dead in the mark there. I'll turn you around so you can see it. All right, I had one just a ½ inch high and one dead in it. So I'm going to go down there and get those arrows, find 10 yards, and we're going to find 5 yards. And then we're going to start finding all the little marks in between. I'll be right back. All right, so we're good at 15. I'm going to go up to 10. I ain't kidding. I've not seen an IBO shoot yet where they don't have a target sitting out at 3 yards or 5 yards, and a small one at that. 12 yards right here. I'm gonna get my stickers up I dropped. I'm gonna take 2 steps forward. Confirm. If you're doing crawls, don't guess your yardages. Get a rangefinder. Get a rangefinder and know for sure. Know for sure what you're shooting at. Because under stress, under stuff like that, it's going to change a little bit. What you map out in the backyard in a stress environment might be a little different. This is exactly 10 yards right here. And why I say that, sometimes when you're under the stress of competition or whatever, you may pull a little harder. You may pull a little less. A lot of people pull less. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go to where my 20 was. I'm going to drop one full mark. That was 15. I'm going to drop one more full mark, and this should be it. All right, that was about an inch, a little over an inch high. So I'm going to shoot one more to confirm. Now, an inch high above an inch dot is still well within the tolerance of a 10 ring on an IBO target or an ASA target. But I will play with that and try to get it a little bit closer with just bumping my knot kite up just a little bit. Oh, that was a bad shot, but it was still within that 1 inch of the circle. I'm gonna shoot one more. I don't like to leave it on a bad shot. I don't like to do that. I gave up a little bit of tension in the back and I didn't get off the string good. That'll probably come across in the video really well. Nice. All right, so they're all, that one was not quite an inch, probably a half inch. At 10 yards. There we go. Those arrows, and we're gonna find 5 yards. All right, here we go. It's gonna look a little crazy, but got to do it. So there should be 5 yards right here. I'm gonna pace it off. I don't know if my rangefinder will read under 6 yards. All right, this is 5.1 yards right here. So just like with 20, 15, and 10, I'm gonna drop one full mark under the 10-yard mark and should be good. That's 20, 15, 10, 5 yards. Right in the money. One more to confirm. About a 1/4 inch above it. So I have now mapped out 5 to 20. So I'm gonna pull these arrows. I don't feel too tired. We're gonna go to 25. All right, let's see where we're at here. We're at 23. Back up to 2 good steps. All right. We're here, 25 yards. Now, this is where, for me and my setups, the crawls and the yardage estimation gets very critical. So I'm gonna go find my 20 yard. I'm gonna go one full mark up, and it should fall perfect. Should. Optimal word. That was a little high, a little right. Shoot it again. And 2, past 20 yards, since I tuned to 20 yards, 20 to 30, I might have to do a little fine tuning. I might have to take a little bit of limb weight out, add a little limb weight, something like that. Change plunger tension a little bit. Find that happy medium. But 25 yards may also only be half a mark above 20, because this bow is a bit faster than I've shot in the past. That shot felt pretty good right there. Height-wise, that was really good. I'm gonna shoot one more to confirm. But I am probably at least 2 inches right off of that dot. So right now, if I can get this to pick up on camera. So when you start your tune, the first thing I do is put my limbs on, set my brace light, set my tiller. I set limb alignment. I'll go through a tuning video with you, how I do all that later on. But what I try to do too, the next thing I do is I find center shot. Now if I can set this, what I'll do is I'll put the arrow on the bow, and then I'll look down and I'll line the strings up with the set screws, and then I'll look down the arrow. Well, you want that arrow tip to be just, the arrow tip to be just left of the string is a good starting point. That is just out of center. Dead center would be arrow right in line with the string. So right now my arrows are right in line with the string, so I could probably stand to bump that thing out about a half a turn with the whole plunger, not just plunger tension. All right, that was a little bit high right with the first one. I'm gonna go get those to rest my back just a second. I'll be right back. All right, I'm gonna shoot a couple more. I don't feel like I should be 2.5 inches high at that crawl. We're at 25 yards right here. And let's just find out. All right. Better center. My alignment was better on that one, so it brought it back to the center a bit more. But it is still about 1.5 inches from what I'm looking at, 1.5 inches high. I want it to be on that full mark. Shoot one more to confirm. All right, that was right beside the dot, just on the left edge of the dot. Shoot one more. So what you're seeing here is a little bit of form tweak. And so what I did, instead of moving anything, I know if I don't have 100% alignment, I'll push shots out to the left, or to the right rather. So I really had to get that alignment a little bit better. Under the extra weight of this bow, it's been a little bit of a struggle, but it's just something I gotta remember. Perfect. I mean, that's 1/2 inch just right of the dot, so I'm happy with that. So that was me hitting high right, not the bow or the tune or anything. So I'm gonna go down there. I don't know if you'll be able to see those. There you go. So I'm one right on the, I'm 1/2 inch left, right, and that one is just a bit above and left. I'm happy with that for right now. I'll fine tune that in a little bit later. Look at that. Ride back. All right. Might as well do 30 while we're out here. You get the yardage. .4. Let me grab my bow. Now, let's talk a little bit about conditions, like environmental conditions. So you can't really tell it, but I do have a bit of a wind out here. It's pretty steady, blowing left to right. That could be my right issues too. It's not helping it at all. It's very overcast, cloudy, so the lighting of what I'm seeing the arrow is going to be different on sunny days. When you have sunburst off that tip of that arrow, the shaft looks bigger, so you're holding it where you think you should be holding it on them bluebird sunny days, and it's really a little lower than it looks like. So if it's really sunny outside and you see yourself hitting a little bit low, bump it up a little bit. Same way it happens with indoor. If you go to a venue that's really dark, and then you go to a venue that has really good lighting, and it's going to look different. The sight picture is going to be a bit different. I don't suggest, personally, I hate to change sight picture. I would rather change crawl. So if you find yourself hitting a bit low on them bluebird days, change your crawl to fix that, not necessarily your sight picture. Hold the same every time. All right, here goes the 30 bomb. All right, I'm about 2 inches to the right. Did have a gust of wind on that one. So I'm gonna shoot another one. About 2 inches right, half inch, inch low. All right, that was about a half inch high, just off about a half inch high and about a half inch left. Had a gust of wind on that one too. Every time I go to release it, it sounds like the wind wants to blow. Because I did have a little porpoising on the arrow on that one too. So I'll come out here and do this again. Same thing. Even though it seems to be correct, I'll come out here and do this again on a no wind day and a sunny day. I'll come out here and do it when it's raining. Know what your equipment's going to do in all conditions. All right. It felt good. It's that same 1.5 inches, 2 inches right. Good height. I'm gonna see what my bear shaft's doing at 30 yards, just for giggles. All right, here's bear shaft, 30 yards. Shoot one more because that was not what I expected. And here comes the rain. She's getting a bit weak past 20, which I thought it might. The farther you crawl up the string, the weaker your arrow is going to get. All right, so let's go up there and look at this. It's starting to rain on me, so that'll be the last arrows. But you've seen what the bear shaft did at 20, and this is how much it can change from 20 to 30 and why you need to fine tune some things. Now, they're not the best shots in the world, but let me explain them. Here were my 3 fletched arrows. I had these 2 down here, this one here at 30. Here's my bear shafts. So what that's telling me is the farther I'm coming up that string, the weaker it's getting, right? So I'm gonna have to take a little bit of, I'm gonna have to take a little bit of limb weight out of that. So I'm gonna get in here before I get soaking wet, and we'll continue this later on. But I hope it helped. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you had any questions, just ask, and I'll be happy to answer them best I can. If I don't know the answer, I'll find out for you. Y'all shoot straight. God bless.